So welcome everybody. Thanks a lot for attending this webinar that for me personally, it's so exciting because many months ago we started with this idea and finally we are here. So today we are celebrating International Women in Engineering Day. I'm very happy to be here with you, these four amazing women in engineering that will share their ideas, their experiences, and we have been talking a lot, the five of us, and I think it's going to be a very nice dialogue. I also want to thank all our partners, the Spanish Chamber of Commerce in Qatar, that here is Nerea, member of the board. Thank you for joining us. Also, Dubai Chamber Women Council and Doha Women Forum. It won't be possible to organize this webinar with all the help of all of them, so thanks a lot. Firstly, I would like to introduce our speakers today. As I said before, for Amazing Woman, we start with Abeer. She's from Qatar. She has a bachelor in petroleum engineering and a master in women's society and development. She has experience working in petroleum engineering, corporate petroleum, reservoirs and resources. And she's also the founder and vice chairperson of the Qatar Association of Women Engineering. She's also a member of the Qatari Women Affairs Steering Committee and member with the advisory board of CHCC. And finally, she's an active member of the Society of Petroleum Engineering, both in Qatar and in the international section. Then we go with Gala. Gala, she's from Spain. She's a civil engineering from Madrid. She has 7 years of experience working in engineering and construction. Now she's site manager and Expo. That I think that Expo is one of the biggest and more innovative projects that are being developed here at the moment. So congratulations, Gala. She works in ACCIONA Cultural Engineering, and she's still site manager in the Terra Sustainability Pavilion and Expo. And she's also been working in Sindaha Museum in the old Dubai Creek here in the Emirates. Now we go with Ilham. She's an aerospace engineering, and she is the CEO of E2E, a fast-growing digital community created to allow other young engineers to help one another accelerate their knowledge through the problem-based learning. So she's an engineering that is also helping other young engineers. That it's amazing. She has received multiple awards through her studies, including, I cannot tell all of them because the list was very long, but I will say some of them. Engineering Leader Scholar of the Royal Academy of Engineering, founders of the Future Fellowship McKinsey Women Achievement Awards 2020, and finalist of the Top 50 Women in Engineering. And last but not least, Nereyan Gundes is a Spanish civil engineer also, with a master's in urban mobility. She started her career in Madrid, working in facility management in highways, and the last 8 years she's been working in the Hamad International Airport in Doha. She's also a member of the board of the Spanish Chamber of Commerce in Qatar, and she's a sponsor and speaker at Doha Women Forum. So as you can see, we have 4 engineering here, but also we have 4 women that are fighting for the quality in the field, to share the knowledge. They are willing to share the knowledge, to share the experience, and they are trying to do as much as they can to increase the role of women in engineering. Today, we are talking about the women in engineering, both in the Middle East and in Spain. And if we see some data, we have something in common, that the number of women studying engineering or STEM degrees is increasing. I have the data here. For example, in the Arab countries, between 34 and 57% of students in STEAM degrees are women, and in Spain, 25%. But when life continues, and if we are talking about the workforce, the percentage decrease. And for example, in Spain, only 15% of the technical departments are led by women. And 13 of the 15 countries in the world are in the Arab world with the lowest rate of female participation in the workforce. So there is a gap. Women study engineering, but then during the life, we don't know why, the figures decrease. And I think that this dialogue today, it's highlighting a lot of the questions that are clue for this decrease. Because we have been talking before, and I think that some of the ideas we were sharing and a lot of the topics that we are covering today are the reason for this decrease. So I start with the first question, ladies. Go ahead, speak wherever you want. This is a free dialogue, okay? So my first question is, today we celebrate International Women in Engineering Day. How do you live this day? Do you think it is still necessary to celebrate it? Who wants to start?
Okay, I will start. First of all, thank you very much, Amaya, for the nice introduction and for the support of this event. About your question, well, first of all, I think it's important this day, but the most important thing is the work that we deliver every day in our positions, and this is the critical thing that we need to consider. It's not a matter of a day, it's a matter of a long career, and with our effort and with our daily activities is how we can show that the woman can lead a team, can manage contracts, and can take responsibilities. Yes, it's important this day. And how I am celebrating? Working as usual. I arrived to my office at 6:30 early in the morning. I am still here working with my team. I attend some meeting this morning, some technical visit, doing report, and I think it's the best way. We have to deliver, we have to do our best, and day by day we have to work very hard to show that we can.
Yes, this is very important, that we can, leading by doing. That is one of the keys. And
yes.
Gala, Ilham, Abeer.
So I think that today is a special day, but I think good engineering should be recognized every day and appreciated every day. You can put the same argument on things like Mother's Day or Father's Day or a birthday or any sort of celebrating any sort of event. Is it something that still needs to be celebrated? Sure, but I think we need to take a step further and go beyond just celebrating one day where people will recognize, oh, I have a female engineer in my company, or there's a female engineer in this specific department. No, I think it should be more neutralized, if anything. But yeah, still, I will still say into that happy International Women in Engineering Day, even though it should be every day, and I'll continue saying it tomorrow as well.
Nice.
For me, again, I totally agree with Ilham. It's and even with Nerea, it's not about day. It's a continued journey of achievements for those engineers. I don't see any harm to have a day. Actually, we are really happy to celebrate many of those women who achieve a lot during the year. Highlight them during this day is very important and is a recognition for them to continue their journey and to inspire others. I guess the lifestyle that we are going through right now makes us not feeling that the days or even months, but to have our day and to recognize those who are really working hard, managing between their home and their profession as engineers is really step ahead to give them the chance to continue this journey.
Gala, and you.
Yeah, thank you, Maya, for the webinar. This is the first thing that I would like to say. In my opinion, it's really important to celebrate this day. Why not? Because we give voice to women. We make them special in the engineering field. So it's important to celebrate, as Nerea say, working very hard, showing that we can be leaders. We can resolve problems. We can work in the site. This is my case, working every day there. So I'm really happy to celebrate and to be part and give voice to this day. So I definitely celebrate it.
And there is another topic that sometimes is in the debate about women. It's if it is necessary to encourage women and girls to study technical degrees, because there is a gap, we already saw, and sometimes then it becomes a gap in salary increase and this kind of thing. So sometimes people say we have to encourage girls to study technical degrees, engineering, and because some of the majority, perhaps, the women are willing to study medicine, education, and other degrees. So why did you choose to study in engineering? And did you recommend girls to study engineering?
Yeah, so for me, it's very nature in our family. Most of the most of the young generation in our family go to engineering. The older ones were used to go to the doctor side, medical side. So in that, to be honest, I went with the wave. But why petroleum engineering? I was looking for a rare engineering side or path that few women dig in. I loved chemistry and math from beginning, from very young age, and that's what led me to go to petroleum as a rare path, and that have the chemistry and math as main subjects. Do I advise the young students to go? Absolutely, yes. Indeed, it took me 2 years only after joining the industry to take this decision. Um, I went for many webinars. I talked to many students in their schools to join this industry. I loved it, and I think the new generation should, if they have the opportunity to or the decision to love those subjects, then definitely it's a good path that they will take. Yes.
In my case, I have asked myself many times about this question, why I decided to study engineering, because in my family, there is no one related to engineering field, actually. I remember when I was a kid and I was playing with my brother, I was the one organizing the playing field, planning the territory. Here we will place the houses, here we will have the hospital, here we will locate the port with the boats. I remember also one time we built a house somehow. So I realized that these are clear examples of feeling the engineer in the veins, you know. And when I was studying engineering, I felt that mathematics and physics and technical stuff, it was one of my favorite things. So definitely it was the good idea to study it.
Well, in my case, first of all, from my point of view, I would like to send a message to all the students that I encourage to them to study whatever they want, not only technical studies. What they have to do is what they want, where they feel comfortable, because at the end of the day, when the alarm wake up you early in the morning, you should feel happy to go to your workplace. And for that is key to choose what do you like, what do you want to do in the rest of the days of your life, because if not, it's not going to be a good idea to study something because now we have to encourage the girls to do it. What they have to do is what they will like, okay? And they have to take this decision because it's going to be part of their life, and the rest of the year will be around this decision. In my case, if I am honest, yes, I have a similar history like Gala explained. Yes, I love to do these kind of things when I was a child. But at the time to choose my career, I have other options. As you say, and as you mentioned, Gala, Maya, I was thinking in other kind of technical discipline. But at the end, I did this mental exercise thinking what I want to do the rest of the days of my life. And when I finished my exam to get the access to the university, I put in a table all the options, and I take at least 2 days to take the decision. And I can say that at the end, I think that I choose the correct one. Because of that, if we have the student listening us, please take your time and think about this, because it's going to be one of the most important decisions in your life.
So I think my story is a bit different because I actually naturally, because you know how they say people have natural instincts, you're either good at technical things or you're not. So growing up, I loved writing, I loved reading, I loved writing poetry, I loved languages and everything, the opposite spectrum of engineering. And when I started going into grade, I guess 10, 11, and 12, I was introduced to physics and maths and space and etc. And that was challenging for me. And I'm not ashamed or afraid to say that was the case. But why I decided to go that step further and pursue a degree in aerospace engineering, well, it was it lit kind of this fire in me where I wanted to solve the challenge. I had the challenge of not being able to do engineering. And that challenge for me pushed me to solve that problem that I was having and become good at it. So I did spend a lot of hours, I spent a lot of time, I spent a lot of just building up my own confidence into saying, okay, I may not be naturally good at this, but I will train myself and I will try my best to be good at it and to be able to to be the best engineer in my own definition that isn't under any sort of terms of what an engineer should be good at. And that's where sort of I came across is I started not being very good at maths. I trained myself and I was able to be good at it. And that's why I try to encourage anyone who is coming from a separate angle into engineering, where you grew up not being very technical, that it is a skill that you can train yourself to do and you can actually be really good at it. So yeah.
So you decided to go for your challenge. That is a great story, Ilham. And the next step after deciding to study, I would like to know if you felt any time, any inconvenience for being a woman during the degree or during the career. I think it's very nice because here we have, I think, some difference in age. So perhaps with the years, the situation is a little bit different. I know that Nerea, for example, perhaps started your degree years years earlier than it has, like the youngest here. So I would like to talk to you about this inconvenience that perhaps, or this feeling that perhaps you had at the beginning, and if, let's see if the situation has changed. Who wants to start, Nerea?
Okay. Well, in my case, I was thinking about this question that you raised to us at the time to prepare this web seminar, and really, I don't feel that I found any inconvenience during the time of my studies. At the time that I was in the university, yes, it's true that the college are most common as a boy, but we were maybe 25% of the girls in the class, and we were receiving the same support. I never feel any different between my college boys, or no. I was trying to think about this, or to try to bring some situation, but really no, not at all. I think that today we just don't have this situation in the universities, because day by day is more common, and also because this web seminar and another event are supporting the idea to encourage, as we said before, to the girls to study technical disciplines.
That's great. And during your career, not at university?
Same. I was thinking the same. I told you in our previous meeting that I am the only woman managing a contract in the airport, the only one in the civil field, because normally this career is more for men. And I am working in the Hamad International Airport 8 years ago, well, a little bit more. And I am in charge of the civil contract. And I have always the 100% support of my company, of my client, all my colleagues. Not at all. I think that today this is something day by day more common, and we are receiving the same support, at least, not also benefit, but for sure we don't want, because we should deliver, and we should be able to deliver what they expect from our side. And I feel that I have the same opportunities than my colleagues.
Nice.
I feel like
well, you can.
Go ahead, Gala. Go ahead.
Thank you. I would say I had the same feeling when I was studying civil engineer, because I didn't find any inconvenient being a woman. I was having very nice colleagues. Actually, we were the 30% of the total students in my class. So even if we were less, I didn't feel like we have any difference between us. All the ladies, we were so friendly, and we support each other. Even the guys support us. So it was really good studying civil engineer, and all these days were really, really good. But in the opposite, when I'm working, when I am outside, I'm talking about my experience. I would say that to be a woman, there is an extra element of doubt of each man that I work with, or whether I will be able to do my job or not as a site manager. At least for the first time that I met men. In a general discussion, for example, men will primarily talk directly to themselves, to the other men, even if the topic of the discussion is under my management. So this one happened to me several times outside, which I take it in a positive way, being able to talk and being able to manage the situation. And also I lived something here in Dubai. I have been working on a site which woman was not allowed to walk alone on the construction site, which basically meant I could not do my job. So it was really at the beginning was so surprised. I had to be always with a health and safety officer to go into the site, which I was really surprised. Then the rules changed definitely when I was there, and I say, come on, I have to do my job. I have to be responsible for the site, and I have to deal with this, deal with that, this subcontractor. So you need to give me this possibility to be alone outside. So I found this kind of inconvenience, but I have to say that I have never thought to leave it, never, ever. So this is a good challenge that I was living, and happy to go ahead with it.
Yeah, adding on to what Gala said, I think that as long as you enter anything, when it comes to anything in life in general, when you enter it with like a positive mindset of not letting the fact that yes, you're a female engineer, but you don't even need to add that adjective to it. You're just an engineer. When you walk into a field, when you walk into a company, when you walk to a conference, you're going in there as an engineer, not as a female engineer, not as a Middle Eastern engineer, no, purely an engineer in, I guess, all its terms. And I feel like if you come up with a good idea with the potential to make a positive impact, gender does not play a role in whether it is accepted or not. But if you make the issue that because you're female and you're going into a site or you're going into a company or you're going into a conference, for example, with the spotlight being, oh, I'm a female, what are they going to think of me? What are they going to say? How will people react? Of course, that's going to be the only thing that they will think about because you're thinking about it yourself. And I think that's how what really helped me is really not making an issue. Like, yes, I'm here as an engineer to have engineering discussions. I'm not here as a female engineer. And I don't think, because we don't say, oh, this person's a male engineer. And I don't think we should be categorizing female engineers either.
Okay, Abeer.
Yeah, well, yeah, for me, talking about oil and gas industry, and I can sense how it's different from industry to another, from country to another. I think, yes, we do share the same things internationally, the main factors, and then we have those small or minor differences from an industry to another. For oil and gas, honestly, and this is something that I really thank you for asking this question about university and joining the industry or the sector itself. Now, as a student, as all of them mentioned, I never felt it was something wrong or there is a difference. In fact, here in Qatar, they promote engineering since schools. We have technical and industrial schools dedicated that you can begin even your journey of engineering or industrial engineering since grade 10. For the university, indeed, we have the best top engineering university in the Middle East, which is ACCIONA, Qatar. And we have broke the record of female students as engineers. We have 60%, almost 60% of the graduates of the engineers are women. So this is something to be proud of, and we really give them a thumbs up for that. Joining the proficiency, and I joined the industry back in 2011. That was kind of a challenge because we were the first first batch to join the industry. And talking about joining the industry in oil and gas, you can imagine we didn't have our cabins, our rooms, our washrooms. Those facilities were all prepared only for men. But then, as Gala mentioned, the thing is that if you turn your back and give up, then that's what makes this big gap. Many of the young generation would not believe in this path and they would not take it. And back in then, I remember we raised this concern saying that we want our own washrooms, we want our own cabins. And honestly, right away, the action have been taken. Now in each rig site, we do have our own cabin. And this is again something to be celebrated. The new engineers joining are really comfortable joining the industry. So yeah, there is alhamdulillah very good changing with time.
It's nice. You were a pioneer first. First course to join. Congrats. We have a question that I think it's relevant here. because some of you have experience working here in the Middle East and in Europe. Did you find differences between working there and working here in terms of gender, or it's the same?
Well, the environment is completely different. We are working here in a multicultural team, people from different nationalities, different background, different culture, and from this matter, yes, of course, it's completely different. You need to be able to integrate yourself in this group, to work very hard, to be multitask, and to listen, learn, and after that you can start to work or deliver, because it's a different environment. It's not, you are not in your comfort area, as we just say now, very common sentence in Spain. In my case, that I am from Spain, is completely different. You are working with 99% of the same nationality, same culture, but here it's completely different.
Much more interesting.
Yes, and some of the cultural problems sometimes is about the behavior between women and men, because of the place where we are, that they have their own culture and other type of behaviors. But first of all, as I told you before, listen, respect, and later you can be in a correct position to deliver and to speak and have a proper manner.
Okay.
In my case, actually, I have only worked in UAE. I cannot say if I was working in Spain how it is. I suppose that 90% of the people in the site are Spanish or Spanish speakers. But here it's always a challenge. As Nerea is saying, we have people from all around the world. And actually what makes you is to speak some small different words in Arabic or Hindi Urdu or Tagalog. So you really learn how to say these small words and to try to communicate with everybody. So definitely there are differences. I can really comment on how the profession is in other countries, as I'm telling you. However, as mentioned before, there is a difference in culture and also culture between the companies. For example, it's not the same Arab company than Spanish company. They have also differences in the company. So a part of being multicultural in the site, it's also a matter of the company discipline or company the way that they work with their workers.
Okay. More comments about this topic, or we continue? Then we can go back if you have any idea to share. So now I think that the UAE and Qatar, they are two countries where you are developing amazing projects in engineering, and I have the feeling that these countries and the region currently are offering good opportunities for women engineering. You know, I know that from Spain or even from Europe are some women engineering listening to you. So what do you think that the region can offer them? Which projects do you think that are the most interesting nowadays here?
Well, in the case of Qatar, it is clear that the construction now is ongoing for the World Cup. In 1 year, more or less, a little bit more. Qatar will host the World Cup, and the country is growing in a lot of facilities just to receive all the people around the world. And of course, the projects are amazing, as you say. In my case, for example, the airport is now in the middle of expansion project, just to increase the capability and to be ready for this World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, as mentioned by Nera, this is what it's good to join a workforce in a development country, is that you have a lot of opportunities. And for us, I guess it's really good building our experiences during this time. So we have, in terms of, as mentioned by Nera, we have expansion in terms of construction. The whole country here in Qatar is going through a huge construction to prepare for 2022. We have the stadiums, we have the rail, which have been submitted last year. And those were actually delivered by young engineers, by national engineers in most of the cases. So this is really something to learn. It's maybe one chance in our lives, but it gives you a lot in your journey and experience to add.
In the UAE, Ilham?
Yeah, so I don't know where to start, to be honest, but probably, yeah, the main ones, probably Gala would know most about this, is the expo that we're all waiting for. It's been postponed
Yes.
because of COVID, but we're all kind of waiting for October, right? Are we on track for October? Hopefully.
Yes, we are.
And also I guess the Mars Hope probe mission, again, we're going to space. UAE is at the forefront now as the first, I guess, Arabs to actually do that. So, which is good. We're kind of leading the way of creating a sort of interconnectivity. Hyperloop, another very interesting project that plans have already been put in place for it to start. And there's also the Dubai Creek Tower. So we're trying to become more sustainable by building more sustainable buildings and cities in general. So in Abu Dhabi, there's Masdar City, which is purely on renewables. So it's a great start.
Yes, actually, we have here in UAE, we have many projects starting from Expo, what we say. 1st of October will be the opening, and everybody's so excited. And not only because we are open the Expo, it's because a lot of tourists are coming, the restaurants, hotels, the public spaces must be ready, transportation. So definitely we are going to have the last part of 2021 and next 2022, it's going to be very important for UAE. And also, as Ilham is saying, that in Abu Dhabi, they are making a big effort to expand cultural projects, new museums, new areas of culture, which makes UAE more and more open for public, for tourists, and to be more developed in terms of art, culture, and all this stuff. Yes.
Yes, Expo 2020 is going to be the first world event face-to-face after the pandemic. So it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that the country decided to face. You know, they are telling us, no, we are going face-to-face, and fingers crossed, but I know that it's going to be amazing. I know, because in this country, everything it's amazing. when they decided to develop it. Okay, and about the challenges. Okay, I would like to combine, because we were talking also about your day-to-day, your daily life, being engineering professionals and also having a family in most of the cases. So in this combination of personal and professional life, what are your challenges?
To look for the balance. I think that the same like all the women, not only engineers, to look for the balance and to try to find time to cover all. We are trying to be superwoman all the working women with also that we are mommies is what we are trying to achieve daily. This is our daily challenge.
Challenges. It's really hard for me to really, I guess, think of challenges, not because I don't have any, but because they kind of, I don't let them stay as challenges. I always have to like solve them or overcome them or anything like that. It's just me. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. But yes, challenges is probably to really aiming for the stars and setting, I guess, realistic expectations for yourself. Because here you are trying to be, I guess, the best mother, the best CEO, the best engineer, the best. And if anything, when it comes to life, you're going to have to make some sacrifices, make some compromises in order for you to excel in something else. So it's really finding that good work-life balance. I'm working on a sort of like work-life integration thing, yet to, I guess, make a decision on whether that's a good way to go, but that's what I'm working on. But definitely, as she said, balance is the most challenging thing, and it's the most important thing as well, because you can be the best engineer, but if that comes at the expense of family or your own mental health, then is it really a win? You would have to kind of reevaluate that. So
actually, we always receive this question, as Ilham said, and it's like, how can you manage? And actually, many students do think it's very difficult. That's why they only gain the engineering degree and then they decide to go to administration, business, or anything just to avoid this challenge, which is not, as Nerea mentioned, it's as you are a mom, working mom, it's the same for any profession. For me, I'm a mom of two, and I thought I'm gonna have this issue joining the industry, but I guess two things helped me in that, and that's what I would advise. First is that manage your time. At the end of the day, you're gonna work 8 hours or that shift, and in the same time, your kids 90% will be in the school the same time. So after you come back home, you will have your time with them. This is one thing. The second thing is that delegates. For sure, if you delegate things to in terms of the family, to your partner, if you have an urgent meeting or urgent operation, then just delegate to your partner that who will help you to witness the kids. So it's very normal with any proficiency, but you have to manage it. And it's to be honest, I really enjoy it. What pushed me to continue my journey to it's almost 10 years now. Honestly, my kids, because they keep saying, we are proud of you, mom. We want to be an engineer because we see how happy you come back to home wearing your coverall and helmet. And that's really what pushed me and make me do this every day. So indeed, yeah, it's not a challenge. It's an opportunity to grow and expand.
I can imagine that to be a mom, it's complicated because, as you say, everything's related to a balance. I try to balance, even if I'm not a mother, with my free time, my personal life, my friends, family. So challenge definitely is to balance and not to be only focusing work. Let's close when we finish our daily hours. We close and we need to have time for our relatives. So this is a very important point. I would say, in terms of the site, that the heat now in summer is a really big challenge. to be hydrated, and yeah, but in the rest of the things, it's a definite, it's a balance. It's a balance.
I would like to come back to one of the things that you mentioned, Gala, about the free time. And I would like to remark that when we are expats, sometimes we are not taking care of this because we are here, we are not in our home country, we don't have too much friends at the beginning, and we spend the whole day working because we are alone and we still don't feel that we are at home, we have things to do. And in the life of the expats, especially in the first stage of the first year, this is something very common that is happening. And this is also something that needs to be managed properly, because if not, at the end, a lot of expats after 2 or 3 years, if they don't try to set them in the country, they don't feel okay and they want to come back at home because they don't know how to stop the work and try to look for activities for the free time or to have friends. My first years as an expat happened something similar before I get married and I have my baby. And this is something quite important for the life of the expat.
I totally agree with Nerea, actually, because when you are abroad, you are living in other country, your friends are your family. And it's true that the first years outside, I'm talking about my case in Dubai, I work many hours and many days. I had only 1 day off because I was really working all the time working. But it was a point that I discovered, like the proper time that we have is to be in our personal time and to enjoy this part of the day. Like you finish and you have other activities, you can go to do sports, you can meet some friends. You have to be focused in your other part of the day. This is super important, and I'm very conscious, and I always say, like, work is work, personal life is personal life, and we really take care of it.
Another thing about this that also I would like to remark is about the demanding market in Middle East in general. I mean, the level of service that the customer are expecting here is very high. What we have to deliver are 5-star service. Is something that also we need to consider, because this is demanding to us 24 hours, 7 days per week availability. In my case, yes, as I told you before, I have my working hours daily, but always I have my phone close to me. I am working in an international airport. In this case, is one of the top 5 in the Skytrax rating, and we need to answer immediately any request from our client, from our customer, and the level of service here is something that I have never seen before. This is a huge difference between the customer here and in Europe. You asked before also about this, if we found some difference. This is one of the most important difference, the level of service and the market that is so demanding in the answer and in the service that they expect from us to deliver.
I imagine that if you are working in the top projects around the world, I imagine also that they are more demanding. I imagine that it's been amazing and it's a professional challenge, but yeah, you are on the top, you have to give the top also, no?
This is also something to consider, in especially if we have a student attending the seminar, the effort. If you want to achieve your goal, effort, time, follow this, look for a good team. As I say in my sentence, you asked some days before for our code, I say that all of us, we are the sum of the others. It's quite important to work as a team, to look for the correct person in the correct position just to achieve the goals. And in special here, just to support the team and to deliver the service that the client are requesting.
like nodding. What do you want to add?
Yes, I agree, because I don't think I would be where I am today if it wasn't for my family, if it wasn't for my mentors, if it wasn't for the team that I had at E2E and etc. Like, it's not, I didn't make it here alone, and I don't think I'll go further. Like they say, if you want to go quick, go alone, but if you want to go further, go with people. And I couldn't agree more to that. And adding on to what Gala said and Amira, it's all about sustainability, to be honest, because life is like a big marathon. If you try to do things very quickly, try to burn yourself out very early on, you're not going to get very far, and you're only going to hurt yourself in the process. But if you try to be try to grow, treat life as a marathon, and take your time, but also give yourself enough time to take some time off, to do other things that are outside of your field. And then when you go back to it, actually, you find out that you go there with a fresh mind. You work more efficient, you work more quickly, which is why we're given holidays. And I know as engineers, it can be very hard to even take holidays in the first place, where you still keep your emails on. You may have the automated emails sent, but then you're still answering emails, you're still answering calls. So that we need to be very conscious. Holidays are given for a reason, and we should respect that. So
good. And another question that I mentioned the other day, that one of the attendees wanted to ask you: do you feel or do you know if there are differences between your benefits and salaries here in your company between men and women, your male colleagues? Do they have better benefits or better salaries?
No, in my case, no. I cannot say that there is different. We discussed about this matter some days before when we have the preparation of the seminar, and more than between different male or females is about nationalities in some of the cases into the expat community.
I felt, I mean, in my previous company, I faced the opposite actually. I was working more years than the other male colleague, and we were working very hard, both of us. We were actually, I had more years of experience than him, and after the time, I knew that he had more salary than me, and actually, I really knew that it's because he was a male. Maybe it was. I don't know. It was a real fact. So in my case, I can say that I felt it.
That it happened.
Yeah, it happened to me.
All right, so I guess you are waiting for me and Ilham to give our inputs. It's kind of a question that somehow sensitive, but anyway, to give my experience, to be honest, I don't have much details about this, but I remember when I signed my contract with the company, we entered both male and female with the same degree, with the same major, the same salary. Yeah, so we have the same benefits, the same basic salary, and then the other allowance. What I read, I remember in the contract, then if you are married, and this only applies for the male, if you are married, then you get a bit higher allowance in terms of the living, the housing, and I guess the social. And these are related to that men are the one responsible to provide these things once they are married. I know for a fact that there were some cases where women said our partners, they don't have this allowance and their husbands and their companies, so they provided to them instead. they provided to the women instead of men. So that's what I can say about it. Yeah.
So Ilham, do you want to add something?
No, I think the rest of the panelists have much more experience than me. I've just entered the workforce, so I'm not quite sure on how to answer that one. So
I imagine that the situation is as every country in the world, depend on the case. And I think that sometimes the situation is fair and sometimes the situation is not fair. And I think that we are all willing to change the general situation to have completely anonymous, we were talking about completely anonymous performance assessment for all employees, no matter your gender, no matter your age, only matter in your performance and your results. And I think that we are on the way, but unfortunately, sometimes, as Gala said, we face this situation. But I have the feeling that it's the same here in the UAE, in the Middle East, or in Spain, or in Europe. That is not a point that we can highlight like it's different here, I think. And now our last, I think, question, I would like you to share your quote and just to explain a little bit. Nerea already did, but the rest of you explain your quote and the last idea or message you want to share with the audience that is here with us.
Okay, so for me to really give an advice for all of those who are planning to join engineering field is that, and I guess it applies to all professions as well, that this is the thing that I didn't know when I joined the company at the beginning, but then I learned it with time. There is always difference between coach and the mentor. Maybe you will be appointed for a coach who will direct you through the technical and through your developmental plan, but then it's your right to choose your mentor. Um, if if you couldn't find that your coach will give you that expansion, that development, then go and look around your environment, witness those people, even if it was one of those leaders in the company. If you can see them as a role models, approach them and tell them, I want to have you as my mentor. And that's what, for me personally, that's what made me grow and expand. I had a good mentor, and then with time, actually, I said, you know what, I want you to be my coach. And he gave me a lot of expansion in my technical proficiency. The other thing I would say is that don't give up, speak up. This is what we really need. Speak up for your rights. The new generation are really strong in this. Just emphasize on it, because you don't really consider how each case would change the future of others. That's it for me.
I would say to the students that they should be ready for the challenges, both professional and personal, actually. I would say if they want to work here in the Middle East, to be aware of the local language, the culture. They should be familiar with this area, these countries. I mean, I would say also they will face many challenges. They have to prove sometimes themselves compared with men. But let's try to convert the negative situation to positive situations. Maybe the fact that we have challenges and we are willing to work on it and to be positive, as we say. So to not to be small, as always I say, to not to be small as a woman. My sentence is real clear. Let's work together to be the example of a strong and empowered woman who choose to be leaders in engineering. I think it's strong, and I think it's powerful. So I would say this one to the students.
Nice. Ilham.
Yeah, so my one would be, so I believe in the golden rule, beat challenges before they beat you. I remember before Amaya, we were talking about thinking outside of the box, and how my response was, well, our generation is breaking the box. We don't have a box to think around it anymore. And that's what I guess I tell people around me is forget about thinking outside the box, just break the box completely, because there are no limits when it comes to what you can achieve. As long as you believe in yourself and you invest your skills and talent in the right places, you can go very far. Because I think that's what it all comes down to, is self-belief. Don't try to expect it from other people. You have to believe it in yourself, because that's the only consistency that you will get. And sometimes you're going to wake up and you're not going to want to go to work. Sometimes you're going to have a bad day. So if you rely on consistency rather than motivation, or just working when you feel good, that's when you'll, I guess, deliver results. And the same applies to whether you're in university, whether you're working, or in any aspect of your life, is to remain consistent and committed, because motivation goes up and down. So if you rely on motivation, your career will be going up and down. So don't do that. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents of advice.
Nerea, do you want to add anything?
Well, yes, I mentioned before one of the sentence, but I will read the full. First of all, what I would like to say that all of us, we will be our own decision maker. I told before that it's quite important, all the decision that we are taking, even the small one, because it is going to create our path. And if we fall down, we have to stand up. Means always keep going, because one time maybe you fail, but maybe next time you will achieve. At the same time, hold the hands of the other. Means that all of us, we need the help of the other sometimes, and you will be able to help others. At the same time, someone will help you for sure. And at the end, each of us are the sum of the others. All of us, we are here because of the help, support of others. We are not alone, and we cannot achieve most of our goal alone. We are part of a team, of an organization, of a family, and all of us, we need the other.
Thank you very much. I think that we have been destroying the box in Ham, because we have been talking about women in engineering. You are leading amazing projects here in the Middle East, the airport, Expo, Petroleum, launching a startup, Ilham, and perhaps people were thinking, women, engineering, Middle East, oh, let's see what are they telling us. And I think that we are destroying a lot of fake ideas or the box. So there is a question in the Q&A. What made you a strong woman? They want to ask you. And I'm sure I've been talking to you the last weeks, and I know you are a very strong woman. So if you want to tell us something, and perhaps some questions are coming. I understand it's a difficult question, because to think on ourselves, it's more difficult. But do you want to share something?
For me, what made me a strong woman? Well, first of all, thank you for this compliment, calling us a strong woman. But what pushed me, as I said before, what pushed me was my family. They are a great supporter to me. My father and mother, from beginning, they fully push me for any decision that I take. And then my kids. Sometimes, as Ilham said, we go down you feel and it's usual. It's nothing that you will be happy all the time during your journey. It's very normal that you have ups and downs. And during those downs, my kids were really the one push me to do more. Every time they're saying, "Mom, we are proud," I just feel I want to do it more for them. Yeah, that for me that's my big push. My family.
Very nice. I can imagine that it should be amazing telling your kids, this is my airport, this is my expo site, or this is, that because they really see what my mom is doing every day in the site there. So I can imagine their faces like, oh my God, mom.
They do actually. Every time we go to the petrol station, they see my mom actually dig that hole for you guys. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, for me, similar to Amira as well, I would say my mom made me a strong woman. My dad made me a strong human being, which are two very different things that I think we don't speak about enough, is that you can get things from your mom, but you can also get things from your dad as well. And I feel like they both made me a strong person in general. And that's what it, I think, goes back to, is something close to home for me. So I was lucky enough to have that in my family.
Very nice.
For me, the same. My parents, my mother, my father, my brothers, all of them helped me to achieve and to reach this position. Day by day, my husband and my daughter, and day by day, my team working with me every day, supporting me. At the end, the effort are helping us to achieve our goals. As I told before, all of us, all the people that is around us is helping us in different ways. But for sure, the foundation is our families, our parents, my brother, my husband, and my daughter.
Yes, I think the same. Family, even close friends, that they believe in you. One of the big points that I would like to say is that you really need to believe in you, and you need to know your worth. You need to be strong, and you need to know that you're worth it. You are able, which is super important when the other people try to make you down. You have to know your value, and this is very important, because if you trust in you, you are going to be stronger. You are going to be able to manage the site, contracts, daily issues, and everything, even to manage the family as well. I really like the sentence that Ilham say, if you really want to go fast, go alone. But if you really want to go farther, go with, be surrounded by good people, the people who believe in you and they love you. So actually, the people who are around us make us strong. And for sure, woman like us, like we believe in woman, we empower woman, which is very, very important as well.
Yeah, this is very important. Perhaps one of the things that women can contribute in the workplace is to change a little bit this mindset of collaboration, team building, and go together. So, you know, I think that the goal is to inclusiveness. So try to enrich the work environment with because we are different, male and female. So try to enrich the environment with our approach. So we have a very nice message from Marta. We are strong together. Thanks all for your sharing. I have personally witnesses galas in Nereyan journey in Dubai. So hats off. So congratulations, ladies, because I think it's been a very nice dialogue. I think you have been very generous because you have shared a lot with the audience. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and
Thank you.
let's see.
Mhm.
Webinar. Or
Having us, Amaya.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, gracias, shukran.
Shukran.
Thank you, everyone. It was really pleasant. Thank you.
Bye.